we continue to commemorate African History Month, we touch base with our friends from the continent to find out more about what's happening across the pond. So today we go back to South Africa, and this time I speak with Cawe Mahlati, who is live from South Africa, and she is, in fact, the director of Seed Capital Fund, a venture private equity fund and advisory firm. She's a specialist intellectual property lawyer who has worked as an associate at IBM White Plains, and Cawe was an advisor to former President Mandela, and she has worked with regard to media, and she's worked all over. She has a law firm as part of a team that rolled out a GSM technology that ushered in the fourth industrial revolution into South Africa. Cawe was also the former CEO of Gauteng Tourism Authority and a member of the UN World Trade Tourism Organization panel of experts advisors. Cawe, welcome, welcome, welcome. We can talk about media, we can talk about tourism, we can talk about health, we can talk about South Africa. How have you been? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And I wanted to correct you about something. The South African company called Mnet that launched the 33 geo-orbital satellites that brought in what is now known as the digital revolution was actually a first globally. The technology was European, but we South Africans had the courage to actually roll it out.
Yes.
So as I speak today about COVID and how COVID has changed the world and how, for instance, the internet and the Zoom, the fact that today I can be in South Africa and you can be in Trinidad and Tobago and we can have a live conversation is an attestation really to the forward thinkingness of this particular South African company that I worked for.
Yes, so Mnet was the first to introduce it. Exactly, because I realized that you were part of that initiative that ushered in the technology that introduced, that sort of forced the whole industrial revolution worldwide, globally. What was that like? What was it to be part of that exciting initiative?
It was unbelievable. First and foremost, we had to go down to French Guiana because that was the launch pad. And let me tell you, the heat in that country is unbelievable. We had 100 degrees at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
And of course, we were exposed to the music, to the fish and everything that went in there. And for us, it was also, you know, it's a life-changing experience to be part and parcel of something that will ultimately change the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so as we today, for instance, speak about COVID and everybody says that the new normal within a COVID environment will have been ushered in by this technology.
Yeah.
And again, I just cannot believe. I remember when I first was reading about digitization, what the digital world will do, the changes that it will usher in.
Yeah.
The whole idea that I could sit in my lounge in South Africa and speak to you in Tobago and Trinidad is just truly thrilling.
You know, it's very interesting that you said, and I'm glad you made that correction, that it's not that you introduced it to South Africa, but to the world. It means Indeed. That we need to point out the significance that what Africa can play in the world. What role you think that Africa and the continent, the countries in Africa and its diaspora can play post-COVID? What do you think the role can be?
I just really believe that from a technology and an advancement perspective, Africa has a lot to contribute, but so do other countries. Mm-hmm. What is uniquely African, however, that I think that we need to endow the world with is our humanity. The fact that Africa, for instance, is the richest continent in the world. We are simply the richest continent in the world. I believe that my generations and the generations come after me, we must take cognizance of this fact. Let me also give you an example that most of the minerals that go into, for instance, the manufacture of most of this electronic equipment.
Yeah.
Africa has got a preponderance of them. And that the world trading system, where we in Africa, we sell our primary products and we don't beneficiate, I think that that's the gap that Africa needs to surmount. Mm-hmm. I'm also mindful of the fact that the diaspora, people in the United States who are very happy with Kamala having won. We're also cognizant of the fact that you guys in the Caribbean may have perhaps advantages. I know that we were discussing with one gentleman in Trinidad who was going to use, we were going to collaborate on a banking infrastructure.
Yes.
Now that the technology is here, we can, I believe, from a business perspective, we need to truly go across the continent. You guys should come here. Next week, for instance, there's an investment conference here in South Africa. We are constantly looking for investment possibilities. Our country is open for business. And I would invite the Caribbean business people. Having lived in America again, I'm cognizant of the fact that the most successful, even African-American business people come out of the Caribbean. When you think in the film industry that I'm in, and when you think about everywhere else, so yeah. Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, and all the people of African descent from the diaspora, I think that we need to collaborate a lot more. I think that also from a tourism perspective, I know that you guys are probably leaders in tourism, attracting the American domestic market. It might also be interesting and important that you guys come to Africa to experience some of the tourism attractions that have become extinct in the whole wide world.
Yeah,
well, and Africa
Well, Africa, there's a buzz about Africa now, definitely. You know, even with Trevor Noah being, you know, sort of shedding light on South Africa, not saying that South Africa is Africa, but South Africa is certainly at the forefront, at the tip of everyone's mouth now with the Black Panther and Trevor Noah. But Africa being at the being a buzzword right now in terms of content, yes? When we speak about content, indeed. Netflix has set up something in South Africa, for example. So there is that cultural content that the world is looking to Africa for. So you're absolutely correct. And by extension, the diaspora. So are you excited about what can happen across the pond? You're speaking about collaborations. How do you see that playing out in terms of the exchange that takes place, not just in terms of the traffic that goes from us to you, but certainly that comes from Africa to our side?
In the tourism sector, and certainly in SADC, what we have done is to open up a transfrontier geographic region. We're hoping that soon, when you get a visa, say to South Africa, you can also go to Botswana, you can go to Swaziland, you can go to Zimbabwe, and so forth.
Right.
And with the new treaty that has been signed throughout Africa, we're just also hoping that Africa can collaborate from an economic perspective, lower the barriers of doing business, and lower the barriers of traveling from one country to another. And as we become more interdependent from an economic perspective, we also need to silence the guns. This year, the South African president became the chairman of the AU, and the theme of the AU is to silence the guns in Africa. We need to move on and, I believe, embrace democracy so that the African people also have a right to choose and elect who their leaders are.
Yeah.
And from the Caribbean, I would say that I want now to bet that you should come here to Gauteng. You know why you should come to Gauteng?
Yes.
We have the only United Nations hereditary site. It is called the Cradle of Humankind.
Yeah.
We claim in Gauteng that actually all the other ethnic races came out of Africa. That in the last extinction, Africans walked from the continent all over the world. And we are now inviting the world to come and study the finds that were found here. We found the largest concentration of prehistoric animals that are extinct. We've also found the largest concentration of prehistoric humans. I forget what their names were.
Yeah.
We've even found, so the point is that whether it's Trinidad, is Tobago, we are open. The University of Witwatersrand is inviting everyone to come and set up and study so that we can uncover this truth for all of us. The fabulous thing and the joke that I wanted to tell you is that we went to China in 2005.
Yeah.
And we took Madame Pless, which is the prehistoric person.
Yeah.
There was an interest because we were also claiming that the Chinese are descendants of Africans. And let me tell you that the Beijing University was the first to set up to try and check this out. So.
Well, Cawe, I know I gotta leave it there for a moment, but I want to thank you for being such a great ambassador for South Africa. And Nosy will tell you that I am already an honorary South African. You know, you just have to give me a passport now. All you have to do is give me a passport.
We've got 16,000 African Americans staying and living in Joburg. You are more than welcome. Please do.
Thank you so much, Cawe Mahlati, live from South Africa there, as we continue to celebrate African History Month here on the Now Morning Show.